And here we are, years later, and it's just now coming to the surface.
And when the plane rolls out, it's supposed to be complete.
Ed Pierson spent years here at Boeing's Renton plant as part of his 10-year career as a senior manager. After he left, he went from internal whistleblower to well-known public critic of the company.
Members of the committee, good afternoon. Thank you for inviting me to testify today.
Telling Congress about glaring problems on the 737 MAX production floor. He says this newly leaked document from a current Boeing employee proves what he's been saying all along, that despite Boeing's denial, the company had production problems years ago that could have contributed to an airline disaster, the Ethiopian MAX crash in 2019.
This is the most important evidence I've seen in the last 5 years.
3 months before the 2019 Ethiopian Airlines crash that killed 157 people, that same Boeing plane had an in-flight scare. The jet suddenly rolled mid-air. No one was injured. The newly surfaced document is communication between Boeing and Ethiopian Airlines about that roll to the right, and Boeing engineers diagnose what caused it. They suspect an intermittent fault with the FMC-1, meaning an electrical problem.
This is incredibly damning because, again, this is the Boeing company saying they suspected that plane had an electrical problem.
An Ethiopian government investigator from the Ministry of Transportation tasked with finding out what caused the deadly crash 3 months after the roll tells King 5 in an email that part of the information was incorporated in the investigation. He said the problem is the record at issue. The correspondence between the operator and Boeing was not provided, and they never saw the document. They say it was a blunder and would have been a vital piece of information. In the Ethiopian government's final report, which came out in 2022, it says Boeing never acknowledged electrical malfunctions that occurred on both MAX planes leading up to the accidents. It's unclear why the airlines never provided the communication.
That's the real impact here. Because they didn't investigate, they didn't identify all these issues.
Pierson says the electrical issue Boeing diagnosed could have contributed to the crash. And if this document had been handed over to Ethiopian investigators, the problem could have been addressed in the Boeing production line.
This information was so critical that had it been shared, properly shared at the time, it would have completely altered all the investigations. It would have altered the accident investigations. It would have altered all the government investigations and the hearings.
Boeing defended its actions and sent a statement saying the company provided relevant records, including information from this document, to investigators according to the international protocols that govern accident investigations. Boeing, however, would not confirm whether this specific document was sent to investigators, and when we asked for proof, Boeing declined to provide it. The statement then deferred to the investigative agencies for further information. Last year, the NTSB went out of their way to say electrical defects did not play a role in the crash. It said the cause of the crash was a software system issue, pilot error, and a bird strike.
Our system of aircraft safety only works when everybody's transparent.
Aerospace engineer Joe Jacobson worked at Boeing for more than a decade and at the FAA for 26 years. He agrees that this document should have been shared.
In my 40 years, we kept making great progress, and then these MAX crashes were an incredible downward slide in aviation safety. And people need to know that it wasn't just a fluke. It was bad decisions. It was concealing information.
Information like this just points up how severe the problem is at Boeing.
Attorney Mark Lindquist of Tacoma represents Ethiopian crash victims' families. He says his clients feel like Boeing is concealing information, and this new document could be another example of that.
Victim families want justice, they want accountability, and they also want to know what happened. They want a full understanding of the big picture. We all do.
And that hasn't happened?
No, there's still many pieces missing from this puzzle.
That's the real impact here. Because they didn't investigate, they didn't identify all these issues.
Ed Pierson wants to make aviation safer for the flying public.
We absolutely want them to be successful. But you can't be successful if you lie. You can't be successful if you conceal, if you mislead people, and if you don't take responsibility. And that's the issue.
Since this crash, Boeing has been plagued by whistleblowers coming forward complaining of manufacturing issues, including a door plug that flew out of a MAX mid-flight in January. Boeing safety has also been the subject of congressional hearings. In Renton, I'm Kristen Goodwillie, King 5 News.